The Linux file system hierarchy. A simple description of the Linux system is that on a Linux system everything is a file. If something is not a file, it is a process. A Linux system makes no difference between a file and a directory, since a directory is just a file containing names of other files. Programs, services, texts, images, and so forth are all files. Input and output devices, and generally all devices, are considered to be files according to the system. In order to manage all those files in an orderly fashion, we will think of them in an ordered tree-like structure on the hard disk. All files on a Linux system are stored on file systems, which are organized into a single inverted tree of directories, known as a file system hierarchy. This tree is inverted because the root of the tree is said to be at the top of the hierarchy, and the branches of the directories and subdirectories stretch below the root. The directory / is the root directory at the top of the file system hierarchy. The / character is also used as a directory separator in file names. For example, if etc is a subdirectory of the root directory, we could call that directory / etc. Likewise, if the / etc directory contained a file named hosts, we could refer to that file as / etc / hosts. Subdirectories of the root directory are used for standardized purposes to organize files by type and purpose. This makes it easier to find files. For example, in the root directory, the subdirectory /boot is used for storing files needed to boot the system. The following terms are encountered in describing file system directory contents. Static is content that remains unchanged until explicitly edited or reconfigured. Dynamic or variable is content typically modified or appended by active processes. Persistent is content, particularly configuration settings, that remain after a reboot. Runtime is process or system-specific content or attributes cleared during reboot. The most important directories on the Linux system. User directory. For installed software, shared libraries, include files, and static read-only program data. /user important subdirectories include bin directory for user commands, sbin directory for system administration commands, and local directory for locally customized software. etc directory for configuration files specific to this system. var directory for variable data specific to this system that should persist between boots. Files that dynamically change, for example databases, cache directories, log files, printer spooled documents, and website content may be found under /var. Run directory for runtime data for processes started since the last boot. This includes process ID files and log files, among other things. The contents of this directory are recreated on reboot. Home directory for home directories where regular users store their personal data and configuration files. Root directory for home directory for the administrative superuser root. TMB directory is a world writable space for temporary files. Files which are more than 10 days old are deleted from this directory automatically. Another temporary directory exists is /var/tmb, in which files that haven't been accessed, changed, or modified in more than 30 days are deleted automatically. Boot directory for files needed in order to start the boot process. Dev directory contains special device files which are used by the system to access hardware. Bin directory, lib directory, lib64 directory, and sbin directory. In older versions of CentOS and Red Hat Enterprise Linux, these were distinct directories containing different sets of files. In CentOS 8 and Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8, these directories in the root directory are symbolic links to the matching directories in the /user directory. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.